All right, so today we're jumping into something really personal, really powerful. It's a diary, but not just any diary. This is a day-by-day account from a cancer patient, and it's all about that strange, quiet week between chemo treatments. You know that time when you're not in the hospital fighting the big fight, but life is just kind of hanging in the balance?
And this is where it all kicks off. Just that one sentence, right? But you can feel the relief in it, that little spark of freedom. He's just finished a round of chemo. He's going home. But, as you're about to find out, this is no vacation.
So what we're looking at here is a raw, totally unfiltered look at one single week. It's his day-by-day journey capturing everything. The little wins, the anxieties that just creep in, and that feeling of just profound uncertainty. I mean, he's literally living from one blood test to the next. It's a story about what it really means to be resilient, day in, day out.
Okay, so first up, heading home. That feeling of getting back to your own space, trying to plug back into a normal life. But the whole time, there's this shadow hanging over everything, a really critical checkup that's just a few days away.
And this right here, this is what he's up against. It's basically a decision tree for his life, hanging over his head the entire time he's home. 3 possibilities for that Tuesday checkup. Are his values okay? Great, he stays home. Platelets or hemoglobin low? He's back for a transfusion. And if his white blood cells are down, well, he's getting readmitted to the hospital right then and there. So yeah, everything is riding on this one appointment.
So what's the very first thing he does when he gets back? You might think he'd just collapse on the couch, right? Nope. He tackles the stairs, changes the sheets on his bed, does the laundry. And you realize these aren't just chores. These are him taking back his life, reclaiming his space. They're these little, powerful acts of normalcy.
All right, so now we're into the weekend. That initial high of being home starts to fade a little, and the reality of the chemo starts to kick in. This is when the waiting game really truly begins. And check out this timeline. It's a total roller coaster. Friday, he's feeling fantastic, full of energy. Then Saturday, bam, the chemo side effects hit. He's tired, his stomach is a mess. You'd think that's the trend, right? But no. Sunday, he suddenly recovers, gets this surprising burst of strength. It just shows you how completely unpredictable this all is. And of course, it's not just physical. The mental load is just constant. He's got these specific worries like a drop in his eyesight, but then his mind also jumps to the huge existential stuff like, what does the future even look like after the transplant? So the anxiety is hitting him on every single level.
But then, in the middle of all that worry, what does he do? He irons. He washes the floors. Isn't that amazing? It's such a human thing to do. When the big picture is so scary and so out of your control, you just pour all your focus into the small things you can control, right here, right now.
Okay, so we're getting closer to that big Tuesday appointment. Physically, he's actually feeling pretty good. But mentally, there's this incredible tension building. It's this tug of war between hope and just total uncertainty about what those tests are going to say.
And this part is so fascinating. He's trying to read his own body, looking for clues. He's thinking, hey, I can take the stairs 2 at a time, so my hemoglobin must be good. He's trying to find some control, but at the same time, he knows deep down that for the really important stuff, the platelets, the white blood cells, there's just no way to know. You can't feel those numbers. All you can do is wait for the test.
So, the first number comes in, hemoglobin, 11. And that's great. It totally backs up how strong he was feeling. It's that first little piece of good news, a real glimmer of hope.
Okay, next up, white blood cells. 2100. Again, that's not bad. It's in a reasonable range. So at this point, you can imagine what he's feeling. That hope of staying home is getting stronger and stronger. 2 down, 1 to go. And then, the other shoe drops. The platelet count. It's 44. And that is critically low. Just like that, all the hope from the other 2 numbers just evaporates. The good news is he doesn't have to be admitted right then. The bad news? He has to come back on Thursday. The week of waiting isn't over. It just got a whole lot more intense.
Listen to what he writes the night before he has to go back. How sad to have to leave tomorrow morning not knowing if I will come home. Wow. That just says it all, doesn't it? The feeling of packing a suitcase just in case, looking around your own home and having no idea if you'll be back to sleep in your own bed.
And here we are, the final section, the climax of this whole week.
It's Thursday morning, and it's time to go back to the hospital for the final verdict. So let's picture the scene. It's Thursday morning. A friend is driving him. He's got that suitcase with him, packed and sitting in the car, and he's walking into the hospital knowing that everything now hangs on one more blood test. The only question on his mind is, am I going home or am I being admitted? So let's just walk through how this day unfolds. He gets there at 8 a.m., but the blood draw doesn't even happen until after 10. So that's 2 hours of just waiting. Then more waiting. Finally, at 11:20, a doctor calls his name. But it's not to give him the results. It's for a swab. And he knows that's the sign. And then comes the verdict. He's being admitted. He needs a platelet transfusion. Just like that, his week of freedom is over. And the last line he writes in his diary for the day is just, now all I have to do is wait. Think about that. A week ago, he left this very hospital feeling hopeful. And now he's right back where he started, sitting in a waiting room with his bag, just waiting again. It's a whole different kind of waiting now.
And you know, that's really what this whole diary shows us. This isn't some big, dramatic story about a miracle cure. It's about something quieter, but maybe even more powerful. It's about the incredible strength it takes to just do the laundry, to let yourself feel hopeful, to get bad news and keep going, to pack that suitcase for a future you can't even begin to predict. So it really leaves you with a question, right? What does resilience really look like? Not in some heroic movie moment, but in the tiny, uncertain moments of just one day.